Prior to the start of the NBA season, the expectations were sky high for the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, think about it. No more Russell Westbrook drama to deal with. Malik Beasley was now gone, who has struggled with shooting all season, and they had made some pretty decent signings in free agency, or at least we thought. And on top of that, it wasn't that long ago when the Los Angeles Lakers had a 14-9 record and were just coming off winning the first ever in-season tournament. It seemed like things were looking up for a team that has NBA championship aspirations, and things were looking pretty good for them. However, this season has been very tough for the Lakers. Since then, they haven't performed so well. They faced a lot of challenges such as injuries, turnover to the roster, and some pretty tough opponents that they just really cannot defeat. This team used to be really strong, but now they found themselves as the 11th seed in the NBA, and they're trying to figure out how to turn things around once again. But after a recent loss to the Jazz, and with the way LeBron has been acting lately in terms of things he's been saying and his body language, it seems like they're just due and bound for some big changes soon. And with the trade deadline coming up, it seems like we're going to find out what these changes are going to be. But before we get into that, we have to figure out why the Lakers are struggling. That's the big question. Why are the Lakers so bad? Because you would think a team with Anthony Davis and LeBron James would be one of the best teams in the West like they were a couple years ago. However, this team has struggles that the other team never had to deal with. For one, they've dealt with some pretty inconsistent three-point shooting. The Lakers have been one of the worst teams when it comes to three-point shooting. They rank near the bottom in threes attempted, threes made, and three-point percentage. This lack of outside shooting has limited their offensive efficiency, and it makes it easier for opponents to defend them. Three-point shooting has been a consistent issue for the Lakers the past few seasons. Even if they had players who were capable of knocking down these shots at a high level, whenever they get to LA, it seems like they just seem to forget how to shoot the ball. And what makes it even crazier is that they're shooting worse from the three this year than they were last year. You see, last year they ranked 24th in a good majority of three-point shooting categories. Still bad, but this year they ranked 29th, which is way worse. The second huge thing that has been hurting the Lakers all season is the injuries to key role players. The Lakers have been plagued with injuries to several key role players on this team, which has impacted their roster depth. 4 players have missed a combined 74 games, including Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and Cam Reddish. These absences have disrupted the team's chemistry and has forced them to rely very heavily on their top 2 stars. Gabe Vincent hasn't even played much this season, and when he didn't really look the best. Jared Vanderbilt missed the first 20 games of the season, and he's come back struggling. And of course, the last thing that the Lakers have been struggling with this season is something that Lakers fans have been complaining about for months, and that is the coaching woes, which include a lack of rotation consistency. Head coach Darvin Ham has made multiple lineup changes throughout the season and has thrown out a multitude of different combinations of players. This has led to a lack of rotation consistency. This has caused frustration among players, and it seems like a disconnect between them and the coaching staff is very evident. These constant changes have made it difficult for players to find the rhythm and establish a cohesive team dynamic. I mean, think about it. If you're going out there on the court and playing with different guys every time, you never really get to figure out their strengths, their weaknesses, their hot spots, their cold spots, and what areas on the court they perform best in. And on top of that, the lineups that are being put out there don't even mesh from a play style standpoint. These players' games don't even mesh with one another, as you have one player out here who can shoot, but you have nobody to get him the ball. Or you have one player out here who can shoot, but you have another one who can't shoot. So that just puts way more pressure on the other 4 players on the court. And all of these reasons combined is the reason why the Los Angeles Lakers have been so bad this season. The roster changes, despite having LeBron James and AD, and despite winning the in-season tournament, these things that they're struggling with have seemed to become a real issue as the season has gone on. However, despite these struggles, the Lakers are not down for the count. We know how well this team could be, because last year this same team made it all the way to the conference finals, and just like last year, the trade deadline presents them with a possibility to get better just like last year. But what can the Lakers go out and get to improve? I mean, of course, it's easy to say a team just needs to go out on the trade deadline and make some moves to get better. But what's really out there that is a realistic option for a team like the Lakers? And to do this, we have to see what the Lakers need. One being, and I figured they would need this even in the offseason as they didn't really sign a whole lot of players at these positions, is rim protection and center play. The Lakers could explore trades to address their need for better rim protection and more reliable center play. This can involve targeting players who excel in shot blocking and interior defense to provide some support to Anthony Davis. Yes, you have Anthony Davis on the back end, but he needs help just like everybody else on the defensive end. And if you can get a guy who could be a rim runner or who just isn't a total liability on offense, that can help out as well. Now, two players that are out there who could be dealt over the trade deadline that fit this mold is players like Mitchell Robinson and Richaun Holmes. They could provide this for the Lakers. As for Robinson, he's an athletic big man who has showcased his shot blocking prowess and his rim running ability during his time with the New York Knicks. And a player like Richaun Holmes is a very established center in the league, and he's proved to be reliable for the Sacramento Kings as well. He's an active shot blocker and a very solid rebounder, which makes him a very valuable offense option for the Lakers to consider. Second thing the Lakers need is perimeter defense. Improving the perimeter defense should be a huge priority for the Lakers. Acquiring a lockdown perimeter stopper who can guard opposing guards and wings will bolster their defensive capabilities. Yes, we know you have guys like Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt, but they're too inconsistent. And the third thing that they need is shooting and floor spacing, as I highlighted earlier. The Lakers are one of the worst teams from behind the arc in the entire NBA. And one of the things that should be high on the priority list is finding shooters and floor spacers. Targeting players who could consistently knock down three-pointers and stretch the floor will create an immense amount of opportunities for a player like Lebron James, who likes to slash and get to the rim, and a player like Anthony Davis, whose game is more inside out nowadays. Now, for these last two things, there are some big names that the Lakers could consider to fill these needs. One would be Alex Caruso. The Lakers could prioritize trading for Alex Caruso, who is currently on the Chicago Bulls. We all know about Caruso. He's an elite backcourt defender and has already proven his ability to thrive alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He was an all-defensive first teamer last season, and he provides valuable contributions on both ends of the floor, as he might be better now in Chicago than he ever was in Los Angeles. Second name is Zach LaVine, who is another player on the Bulls. Now, of course, we've heard that the Lakers reportedly prefer Caruso over Zach LaVine, but LaVine could still be a potential trade target for the Lakers. He's an excellent scorer and will provide the Lakers with another offensive weapon. However, acquiring LaVine might require giving up some significant assets in return, which is something I am never a fan of. Especially with a team like the Lakers, they just simply don't need a player that they have to give up a lot for. I believe in this, especially when you consider what has happened to a bunch of teams who have given up a lot the last couple of years. I mean, look at a team like the Suns now. They have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, and they are still struggling to put it together and win games on the season. So this Zach LaVine deal isn't my favorite. But when it comes to other role players, you got guys like Dorian Finney-Smith you go out and get, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and maybe even Malcolm Brogdon, who would provide immense levels of support for the Lakers as well. Another name I've heard is DeJounte Murray. Now, me personally, I'm not as big of a fan of DeJounte Murray nowadays because I think he has quickly become one of the more overrated players in the NBA. But with Anthony Davis behind him, Darvin Ham coaching him, and LeBron James right next to him, I think we could see him play back to the types of level he was playing in Sacramento and even his early days in Atlanta. He could start back giving more effort on defense, and he could bring his offensive game back together. Not that his game is bad, because he is a great slasher and his decision making is good as well, but I just have to see it when he's in Los Angeles, because it's different when you're in Los Angeles versus when you've been playing for the Spurs in Atlanta from your whole career. Now, like I said, the Lakers have been facing struggles this season due to various factors such as inconsistent three-point shooting, injuries to key role players, and the lack of rotation consistency. And to dig themselves out of this hole, the Lakers have to explore potential trade options to improve their roster. Now, I do believe the Lakers are very close to winning the Western Conference Finals, to making a legit run at the NBA Finals. But it's all about making the right moves to put themselves in the mix in the Western Conference. And you also have to improve the coaching woes that have been plaguing you all season. Now, that is definitely easier said than done, but I still think it's a good possibility. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Can the Lakers turn it around and make another legit run to the Western Conference Finals? Or will they be in the play-in once again and not have as much luck as they did last year? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.